Today on Spotlight Now, the challenges of doing business in Hawaii and how the Chamber of Commerce is looking to help. Plus, we'll take you to New York City for the Aloha Market by Mana Up, where Hawaii businesses made a big splash in the Big Apple. Spotlight Now starts now.
You're watching Spotlight Now with Ryan Kalei-Suji and Yunji Denise on Hawaii News Now. Have questions or comments for our guests? Join the conversation in our Facebook live stream. Spotlight Now, where Hawaii comes to talk.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in here to Spotlight Now on this Tuesday afternoon. Yunji Denise has the day off, and I'll be joined in just a few moments by my first guest. Coming up today on Spotlight Now, we're going to be talking about some of the challenges of doing business here in Hawaii. Of course, we always want to engage you, our viewers. So if you're watching this, please tune into Facebook and type in your questions. You can also be in touch with us through our QR code that you'll see throughout the broadcast on your screen. Coming up in about half an hour, we're also going to air a special called the Aloha Market. The Aloha Market was a pop-up event that happened in New York City where Hawaii businesses were able to share their brands and their businesses with an East Coast audience. We're going to be hearing from some of the vendors and the organizers of that event and really how Hawaii was on display and made a big splash in the Big Apple. But joining me right now is my first guest, the CEO and president of the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii, Sherry Manoa McNamara. Sherry, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me here.
You know, we want to talk about doing business in Hawaii. That's really our focus and our spotlight here today. But wanted to first starting to talk about what happened this last legislative session. Of course, the Chamber of Commerce always very active and busy in legislative matters. What were some of the key initiatives that the Chamber was really watching this past legislative session?
Well, many of the legislation that we're following was related to our Blueprint 2030, which I'll talk about later. But one of the bills that we championed was the Economic Business Revitalization Task Force. And really what it is to put together stakeholders from different industries, as well as government leaders, to evaluate what rules and regulations are outdated, need updating, or just simply removed, so that we can remove the barriers and lessen the challenges of doing business here in Hawaii. So fortunately, with the support of the legislature and the lead introducers, Senator DeCoite and Representative Holt, we're able to get it passed, and now it's just waiting for the governor's signature.
What would you say overall were maybe the biggest wins for Hawaii businesses in this last legislative session? Because we did hear from many lawmakers who said that this was a monumental legislative session, very historic. We saw Governor Green sign that tax credit, with that tax relief bill that Hawaii residents will begin seeing. What would you say were some of the big wins for Hawaii businesses?
Well, one, the task force bill that we got passed, and bills relating to childcare, as well as education and workforce development, and of course that income tax bill that the governor signed, because that will essentially put money back into the economy, which in turn will help businesses sustain themselves, as well as continue to provide jobs. And there are other bills, and of course we play defense as well, bills that could undermine doing business here, and many of them did not pass. So we're very, again, fortunate that the focus was to help our economy, help our working families, as well as help Maui recover from the wildfires.
Yeah, we want to talk about Maui in just a little bit, but just staying on the legislative track, I've always wondered, there's so many bills that are going through, and it's got to be a busy time for the chamber. How do you keep track of everything that's going on? I imagine that requires relationships with lawmakers and just keeping in touch with them. But how do you folks go through that and manage that process when there are so many key measures that could really impact Hawaii businesses?
Well, we have a small team. What we do at the beginning of session is review all 3,000 plus bills that are introduced and identify those that will impact business. So prioritizing them, and they can be from any subject matter. We look at health related, we look at land, every subject matter committee, we look at those bills. And then again, we prioritize them. And really also equally important is to partner with our business organizations, as well as the neighbor island chambers, because as a statewide business organization, it's critical that we also hear from the neighbor islands. And as you know, both of us are from Hilo,
That's right.
so
Yeah.
it's important to have the voices of all islands to ensure that they can voice their input as well.
You'd mentioned the blueprint, and I want to dive a little deeper into that because that was an initiative that really the Chamber has laid out to really help guide the organization, moving forward. can you share more about what exactly the blueprint is and really what its goal and mission is?
So excited about this 2030 blueprint for Hawaii's economy. We launched it in January, and what initiated was the pandemic. We saw how business were struggling. We saw how when business struggle, jobs are impacted. And right now, Hawaii is the slowest in the nation to recover from the pandemic. So we knew we had to do something because many of our businesses were at a tipping point, at a crossroads. So rather than looking at a Band-Aid approach, we looked at it from a long-term perspective, a long-term economic plan. So we hired a national consultant as well as a local consultant to do interviews, to do focus groups, to do research. So it's a really quantitative, qualitative plan and very stakeholder driven. And so based on the findings, what we'll do each session is introduce policies that can help address the challenges that were identified, as well as find solutions for the opportunities that can build a more resilient economy here in Hawaii.
And so this just started, but was there anything that initially in these first, few moments of this being started that were very obvious that were some of the challenges and things that you guys recognized, hey, this is a problem that we need to address?
Yeah, nothing surprising. Cost of living, cost of doing business, investing in our workforce, investing more in education and technology. So again, an economic diversification. So it wasn't really the why and what, it was more now the how. So it's a living document, and it's something what is important to us is to hold us accountable. So measuring our progress each session, each year with these different policies, as well as non-policy initiatives. Partnering with government agencies to see how we can support a much more vibrant entrepreneurial small business climate here in Hawaii. As we know, Hawaii is the worst place to do business. We're constantly ranked either 50, 49, 48. So if you can move the needle and go up, even 47 for that matter, at least we're showing progress. So low-hanging fruit to more long-term solutions is needed. And that's what the blueprint is all about.
And I have to ask you, because the Chamber of Commerce, this is not confined to Hawaii. There are obviously different chambers throughout the country. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, as we talk about Hawaii's ranking with other states, what are some of the discussions when you're talking with others on the national level about what they're doing or what we're doing that we could maybe glean from? Because overall, I've got to imagine that these are ways that you can learn from what others are going through as well.
Yes, so we learned that the blueprint, the states that did do blueprint, they found progress in their state in terms of the business climate, cost of living. And so that's why that even more motivated us to work on a blueprint and come up with a plan, because the states that did do it, the state chambers that did do it, they found progress. And so we're very hopeful, but we know that we can't do it alone. It will take the collaborative effort of our partner organizations as well as government. And we really want this to be an inclusive plan so that together we can rebuild a much more vibrant economy.
And so just in this first initial stages of the blueprint, have there been any plans that have been laid out, or are you still in that gathering information at this point to try to identify some of those issues? And how do you really, I guess, make change? Because I think there are a lot of people out there who say, all these things, we've heard about them for some time, but how do we make some of these changes? What needs to be done? At what point do you begin looking at those exact shifts, I guess, if you will, in policy?
Right. So one is to have a consistent plan. And so, again, this is more of a long-term plan. And as we entered the legislative session this year, we didn't have much time to prepare for the policies because we just found the findings. So next session, we're going to come up with a much more robust agenda. But this one bill that I talked about earlier, the Business Revitalization Task Force, that will help at least find out, okay, what are the rules and regulations? Because we hear that all the time from businesses. That's one of the major obstacles towards progress. And so with this task force, we hope to identify those barriers and next session, introduce legislations to start making those changes, those shifts. We're also seeing an education workforce development arena. Before, we haven't seen much partnerships or collaboration, different stakeholders working in silos, but now we're seeing a much more collective action, bringing together public and private stakeholders. And that's one of the more exciting initiatives at the Chamber, is investing more in education workforce development. Our team, former teachers, 3 of them, work closely with elementary, middle school, high schools, and then we also work with universities, community colleges to strengthen the talent pipeline, get our youth, from a long-term perspective, get them more excited about what kind of opportunities there are here in Hawaii, and creating those quality jobs and high-paying jobs as well.
When you're looking at some of those jobs in demand here and industries specifically, is there any industry that is really in need of maybe that pipeline, so to speak, of these younger generation that might be interested in, whether it be education or in the hospitality? Is there a specific industry that is really seeing the need for help right now?
Definitely healthcare. We're working on technology as well, IT technology, huge opportunities there and high paying. Engineering, so those are some key industries that at least the chamber invested in. I know the Healthcare Association of Hawaii is leading the healthcare sector. There's the creative industries. The key is to start early on. So I just heard a story the other day about these engineering elementary school students where we did a work-based learning opportunity, bringing engineering firms to the elementary schools and talking about the industry, what kind of jobs they can have when they graduate, and had them work on projects. And they got so excited, and now they're starting to think, oh, maybe I'll go into engineering, field. And so it's creating those work-based learning opportunities for in-demand industries.
And just to kind of put a wrap on the legislative side, if you can explain just the collaboration that's happened with maybe lawmakers and leadership as well as the governor about this blueprint initiative. Have those conversations happened? Are they aware of some of the efforts that the chamber is trying to do with this blueprint, and how are you integrating that into maybe some of the decision making that they're doing on their level?
So unfortunately, we didn't have much time to connect with the governor and the legislature and show them the study and talk about the blueprint, because it launched, in fact, the day after legislative session started. But now that we have this time, we will relaunch it in September and have much more in-depth, robust discussions with the governor and the legislature, and hopefully we can work together to come up with a comprehensive bill package to address some of the challenges that we found in the blueprint and pursue those opportunities that were identified in the plan as well.
Well, one of the things that always happens every year at the Capitol during the legislative session is Chamber Week.
Yes.
That continues on. Talk about the success that you see with that. What is the reason behind Chamber Week? Because we know that it has become such a big event at the legislature, but maybe not a lot of people know about it. What was the reasoning for you folks continue to invest in that time?
Well, we launched Chamber Week in an effort to get the business community engaged in the legislative process, because the chamber can go to the legislature and be the voice of business, but more compelling is having the businesses tell their story about how the challenges are impacting them operating their business. And so it's a week-long activities that coincides with the opening of the legislative session. We have various activities throughout that week. One is to walk around at the state capitol, where we go door to door, introducing our businesses to the legislature, asking for their support, and just making that initial introduction. We do a legislative reception. We do a legislative process 101, how a bill becomes a law. Since it's very complex. One of the other activities that we added is a walk around with high school students. So they led the walk around, and they went door to door and talked about some of the challenges they see and what it would take for them to stay in Hawaii.
Nice. Well, maybe you get a little bit of a breathing room now that the legislative session is over.
It starts all over again.
It does, and you focus on other events, including Hawaii and the Hill, which we're going to talk about. We're going to take a quick break, more with Sherry Monor McNamara right after this quick timeout.
The Chamber of Commerce Hawaii is taking action through our 2030 Blueprint initiative for Hawaii's economic future. Join the Chamber's blueprint to help businesses grow, expand local job opportunities, and improve the state's economy. Mahalo.
What is Hawaii's soul?
It's the way we exist with all living things. The aina, the ocean, the sky, the kanaka, who originated from the islands.
And everyone who calls Hawaii home.
It's all of us living with island consciousness.
It's understanding that the past is in front of us so that everyone can follow the kupuna
that came before us.
It's our shared kuleana to take care of these islands
and each other, because we belong to Hawaii.
We are Go Hawaii.
Spotlight Now with Yunji Denise and Ryan Kalei-Suji. Connecting you with newsmakers from throughout our islands. Going in depth with Hawaii's leaders and taking your questions live. Spotlight Now, where Hawaii comes to talk.
Welcome back to Spotlight Now. Joining me, of course, is Sherry Manor McNamara from the Chamber of Commerce. And Sherry, we were talking a little bit about the past legislative session. I want to move on to one of the things that many lawmakers were talking about this last session was Maui and how to support many of the residents that have been impacted by the wildfires there. What can you tell us about an update with some of the Maui businesses? Because, of course, it was devastating what happened in Lahaina, but really the wildfires affected all the businesses on Maui. What were you seeing after the wildfires happened and some of the needs that the businesses had?
Yeah, immediately after it happened, many of the business, if not all, focused on their employees. Many lost their homes too, but their focus was ensuring that their employees were safe and they were able to get temporarily housed. And then, so their focus wasn't really on, okay, what happened to my business? But now it's the next phase. They're recognizing they still got to pay rent. They still got to keep the jobs available to the extent possible. And so they're struggling right now. At least that's what we're hearing. And we work closely with the Maui Chamber as well as the Lahaina Action Town Committee. And right now they're in need of resources because they haven't seen much up until now. So recently, we partnered with the U.S. Chamber Foundation and American Express, which provide a $500,000 grant to different businesses on Maui, as long as they can show they're impacted by the wildfires, right? And it was a $5,000 grant to 100 businesses, and as you can imagine, more than 100 businesses applied. So we hope that we can continue to find different resources. We have a business relief fund that we have yet to deploy. We want to make sure that we can find different ways to help our local business in Maui. While Lahaina business were directly impacted, indirectly were other businesses because many of them relied on the visitor industry. And as soon as it happened overnight, many businesses already saw a loss of revenue, which unfortunately had to lead to job loss, amongst other things, some temporarily closing their doors. So we need to continue to move forward and push forward to find different resources for these businesses.
And what can you tell us right now about where some of them stand? Because it has been some time, and their tourists have returned to the island, but I'm sure it's not to the level of what many of those businesses are relying on. How can the state help more? And what else do you think is needed to be done to support these Maui businesses?
As I mentioned earlier, Hawaii is the slowest in the nation to recover from the pandemic. And many of these impacted businesses are still recovering from the pandemic and paying off their SBA loans. So some of them did not want to take out more loans and were not qualified to take out more loans. And so, we're seeing more doors closing, but yet there's the spirit of wanting to do and exhaust every resource they can. Some are relocating to different locations, but finding it's hard to just pick up and relocate. Now they have to reapply for licenses and permits, etc. So still facing these different obstacles. So while we know that funds are limited on the public side, we still need to find creative ways to see if there's other opportunities from the government side to provide support. And one of it is the rules and regulations, right, that we talked about earlier. On the private side, continue to explore partnerships like we did with the U.S. Chamber Foundation and American Express to seek funding, and continue to make a presence in Washington, D.C. and meet with the different agencies and keep Maui top of mind, because as we move forward, we're going to unfortunately face other situations, disasters. And so we want to ensure that we have a toolkit available and all the resources and build that resource chest.
Yeah, and I got to just say that when, we're going to be, again, airing the Aloha Market special coming up. And in that special, you guys are going to hear from some Maui businesses that were directly impacted. And I think the one thing that struck me was the resilience of these Maui businesses. I mean, you consider everything that they've had to go through, people losing their entire structures, them, losing a lot, obviously. But like you said, their main focus was supporting their workers, keeping them employed, realizing the importance. One of the things that we heard over and over again is that they just want people to come to the island and spend money, including neighbor island people just coming over because it really does circulate and it helps support those businesses.
And we saw it with some programs during the pandemic, the Hawaii Restaurant Card program, right? Supporting local, it keeps money in the economy, keeps jobs available, keeps the doors open. So we need to think creative as well. What kind of initiatives can we look at to help Maui businesses and their workers and keep the economy stimulated? And so it's going to be important that we continue to support local, especially now, and continue to promote to our visitors, please visit our local restaurants, local shops, and do everything they can to support our local economy.
You know, you mentioned the restaurant card during the pandemic. That was one of the bright spots that many businesses and people enjoyed, helping and supporting the local businesses through that initiative that you folks worked on with the city and county as well as with the state. But what we are seeing continuing on today is many long-time businesses, including those in the food and beverage industry. We constantly are hearing from different places that are closing down after years of service just because they can't recover and they're still struggling from the pandemic. What are you attributing some of that to? Because it seems like we're losing so much of those iconic restaurants and places that people enjoyed going to that are really struggling right now.
Right, and it's unfortunate because if we see more of that, it's going to change the landscape and the fabric of our communities. And that's why we felt the blueprint was really critical to implement and find solutions to help our small businesses. There's many challenges. We've heard about it, the workforce shortage, not finding enough workers or skilled workforce, to minimum wage. And for many restaurants, they operate on very slim profits, and when they do have profits, they reinvest it in their business. But we've seen many not being able to sustain because of the huge jump. And while we understand the need to increase wages over time to keep up with the cost of living, we also want to see, okay, what can government do to help businesses as well during these challenging times so that they can keep their doors open and keep the jobs available. The cost of goods and services, that continues to go up. And once we see a business close the doors, then we see a ripple effect, right? Because they have suppliers, and so these suppliers will now see a downturn in their business. And we can't afford that because we're already seeing this out-migration, more businesses shutting their doors or cutting hours. And then again, it will force many businesses to reevaluate how to operate. So it's a pivotal time in Hawaii, a crossroads and a tipping point for many businesses.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, you'd mentioned one of the things that's going to be important for Hawaii moving forward, especially for Maui, will be the federal government's role in helping to support Maui as well as its residents. And one of the things that the Chamber has continually done for the last 8 years, I believe, is Hawaii on the Hill.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about how that all started and what exactly is Hawaii on the Hill.
Yes, so Hawaii on the Hill, that was the brainchild of Senator Hirono, because on the Hill, other states did a taste of their state event, and Hawaii never did do one. And so 8 years ago, Senator Hirono reached out to the Chamber and asked, do you want to partner with us to put on a Taste of Hawaii on the Hill event? And I clearly remember that meeting in DC in her office, and I just took over the Chamber. And I said, sure, I'm not going to say no to Senator Hirono. I said, sure, yeah, we'll partner, we'll do it. And I said, when is it? And she said, oh, in July. And that was only 2 months. I'm like, how are we going to persuade businesses to pay their own way, donate all these goods and products, and really be a part of something that we've never tested before? But you know what, Ryan? It was this Aloha spirit and the need and the recognition that we needed to keep Hawaii on the map. And they wanted to be part of that collective effort to showcase Hawaii's products and services and show our congressional leaders how Hawaii helps with the nation's economy. But it has been so inspiring to see many of these businesses come back year after year and again donating their own products and paying for their own trip. We've gone from 25 businesses the first year to now this year, 85 businesses with about 200 people from Hawaii flying up to DC. And we have more than 2,500 people from the DC community attend this event. It's jam-packed and the biggest event of the year.
And I gotta ask, like, what has the reception been like from lawmakers and from those who don't really have any association with Hawaii and seeing these products? What is some of the benefits for these Hawaii businesses who are investing time and resources to go up there, and the response that they receive when they get there?
Well, one, promoting their brand, their products, and having the DC community be able to taste a little bit of Hawaii, really experiencing Aloha spirit. So hopefully that they'll remember, okay, this is the cookie that I ate, Kauai cookie. Oh my gosh, it was so good. When I go to Kauai, I want to get some, or I want to order some. We have even Koloa rum from, and they're having Mai Tais, Lappert's ice cream. Mention that. You can see I'm mentioning Kauai companies because they bring a full delegation. But yeah, so it's that. And also we have a policy summit that is organized by Senator Hirono and her team. So it brings agencies, whether it's the Ag Department and top-level directors, to come speak to our delegation and let them know what resources are available. But again, it's about showcasing Hawaii and really telling our story about the challenges that many businesses face in Hawaii, and also what kind of opportunities there are to support Hawaii businesses.
This is the 8th year. Is there anything different that you guys are doing this year? Have you guys added anything new to the plate this year?
Yeah, so this week, that whole week includes, for this year, a new one, Rise Strong. It's about discussing disaster preparedness and resilience, bringing experts together to talk about resources and how business can be better prepared. For the second year, we have Kama'aina Career Connect. So it's an event where we bring employers and businesses from Hawaii to DC and invite DC residents from Hawaii in hopes that they can learn more about what jobs are available back at home. So in the hopes that they move back home. We have a manufacturing tour. Our welcome reception this year is something different. It's on Father's Day. So we're going to go to the National Stadium, have a welcome reception, and watch a baseball game.
Wow, sounds like a lot of fun. And I love that idea of just trying to get some people back home. We have a special that's running right now, Price Out of Paradise, with Lynn Kawano doing a special on just how many people have left and just don't have that opportunity. So that's a way that they can engage with some of the businesses, maybe find a way back home. Before we leave, I just want to also ask, as we talk about some of the entrepreneurship things that are, the entrepreneur spirit that we're seeing here in Hawaii. I just went to Mary Monarch this past year and we were talking. I was blown away by how many vendors are there. And it seems like this is an entrepreneur industry that is thriving here in the islands. What can you attribute that to, and why do you think that is?
I think Hawaii always had that spirit. More so now, the pandemic, we've seen many turn to different types of hobbies and made that a business. Now we're seeing accelerators such as Mana Up, who have helped these businesses, small mom and pops, who had passion for something but didn't really know the business side of it. So they have helped them build up as a business. The popularity of farmers market and craft fairs, starting small, but as they gain that popularity, now they're turning into a business that may need storefronts or e-commerce, etc. And so I think there's a multitude of factors. So while it's not as challenging to start a business, it's more how can we help them sustain and thrive. And that's why it's going to be critical for this blueprint to be a success and to continue to find ways to support our entrepreneurs here, our small businesses, and create a much more friendly business environment.
Well, Sherry, thank you so much for taking the time out of your Tuesday afternoon to spend with us here, updating us on all that's happening. We'd love to, always love catching up with you, and welcome you back anytime you want to talk about things that are happening with the Chamber. Thank you so much. Coming up after this break, we're going to take you to New York City and talk about some of those entrepreneurs that Sherry was mentioning and the success that they found recently on a trip to the Big Apple. You're watching Spotlight Now. We'll be right back. Over 40 companies from Hawaii are here in New York City as part of Mana Up's inaugural Aloha Market. This multi-day pop-up in Manhattan is being labeled a Hawaii-themed immersive shopping experience and cultural event, highlighting island-made products. A special focus of this event also supports and celebrates small businesses from Maui who endured the devastating wildfires in 2023. We'll introduce you to some of the Hawaii vendors and learn more about how this event is helping to expand their brand outside of the islands. We'll also give you a sneak peek into what it takes to put on such a major event as this and learn more about Mana Up from co-founders Melly James and Brittany Hyde. Join us for the 2024 Aloha Market from New York City. Hello, I'm Ryan Suji here in New York City for Mana Up's Aloha Marketplace. As you can see behind me, vendors and workers are putting the finishing touches on what is expected to be an exciting weekend. Now, there obviously is a lot of work going into bringing a little bit of the islands to Manhattan, and the featured businesses are hoping for a big weekend of sales, but also to expose their brands to an East Coast audience. Earlier today, I caught up with Melly James, co-founder of Mana Up, to learn more about the organization and about this special event. So Melly, tell us how this Aloha Market came to be.
So Mana Up has been partnering with Shopify for many years. We've hosted our Hawaii Rising program, Build Native with Shopify, so many different great resources that we've been able to bring to the table through our partnership with e-commerce, etc. And so this really evolved as this next iteration of our deep partnership with the Shopify New York team and the brand team. And of course, getting to know Chris Schmitker, who's with Shopify and also Hawaii Boy. Really, this was just a great opportunity to not only feature many of the companies that we have in Mana Up, but be able to create this smoother pathway for folks to get to New York, as it really is the retail hub of the world.
How do you think events like this are helping local businesses really expand their brand and really get more exposure here on the mainland?
Yeah, so part of it is around that mindset shift, right? So how do we help them get to New York? How do they maximize this opportunity for buyers to come, media to come? It's about awareness. It's about the opportunity for folks to come in and get to know these great brands, but also that, again, that mindset shift where they see themselves in this beautiful, beautiful location in the heart of Soho, and that their brand is, exciting and exploding, and it's just around those opportunities.
Tell us about the Hawaii brand itself, something that Mana Up has helped to curate by helping to spread these products throughout the world. How do you think the Hawaii brand sells in New York, and what you're excited to see on display this weekend?
So we hosted our Aloha Market first in Haneda Airport in Japan. So that's a very different, brand of Hawaii. And so I see these companies doing incredibly well here in New York because the brand of Hawaii is aspirational. It means more than just it's almost bigger than itself. It's got health, wellness, sustainability, the spirit of aloha, and all these things that are really trending right now. So we see a lot of opportunity here coming to New York, and especially for these brands. And we're already seeing so many signups coming in. People are really excited, so we're really thrilled for the next few days.
As a whole, how is Mana Up helping our local economy?
Absolutely. So we're trying to increase exports, right? So it's not just about local companies looking to support and sell to the local community. It's not just about tourists coming to Hawaii. It's around how do we help grow these opportunities, these sales channels that are going to help increase exports, so we have new money coming into the state. So what we've seen with the resources we've been able to build, our programs, is being able to grow these companies to really create these additional sales channels so it will continue to grow their companies from right in the islands.
What are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing with Hawaii businesses as they look to scale and look to grow beyond just Hawaii?
Yeah, so a lot of it is around taking that big step over where it's a completely different game. Like, you don't just know the buyer. You don't just have, it's like your auntie or uncle or something like that. These are folks that have no idea who you are. They don't care. And so how do we help create those skills so that they can walk into a meeting like that, be ready to go, be ready to negotiate, and also being able to understand how it works over here. So also, and then being able to have that awareness, especially through the media, where folks are seeing something beautiful, like, wow, this is actually interesting. I want to reach out to them to find out more about that company. So it's kind of twofold. world. One of the big things we have is around, how do we, again, increase exports so that we can grow these companies, and it doesn't have to be that people have to come to Hawaii to experience it. We don't have to have more tourists coming to the islands. We can actually have it both ways, right? We're leveraging the cachet of Hawaii, the fact that people, and we have such a big tourist industry, we can also grow these companies, not only with great people coming to the islands who are excited to be part of Hawaii, but also people who don't even have to fly over. They may have had a trip 25 years ago, they're still saving up. All those reasons, these people still love Hawaii and they can really still be connected.
Melly, we are here. The Aloha Market is open. How excited are you for this?
This is awesome. This is our grand opening, and it's a full house, and we're just so thrilled. The space looks amazing. It smells like Hawaii, and we just had our blessing, and it's just been such a wonderful experience so far.
We're super excited. We are a small business from a very small island, very, very far away. So to be able to come to the Big Apple and showcase not only our company, but with all of our fellow companies from Hawaii, it's a huge honor to be able to come out here.
Coming to New York and with all the different buyers that could potentially come in, it would mean so much for our company, just because my vision of our company is really to grow outside of Hawaii. It's to get to a global level, and this is just one step closer to that.
Well, one of the unique things about the Aloha Market is being able to connect with former Hawaii residents. I'm joined now by Sasha, former Hawaii resident. I want to hear from you. What is it like to be in this environment and see a little bit of home here in New York City?
It's actually pretty surreal. I have been in New York for 12 years, so it is crazy to see all of these things that bring back memories and love for home, and it's kind of like my two loves coming together, so it's really exciting, and I'm so happy to be here and see all of these things.
If you only saw my basket of what I bought shirts, I bought candles, I bought chocolates, the hot sauces, a whole variety of things, because it just reminded me of my time, and as we all say, Aloha spirit is always, just welcome and happy, and it just feels happy to be here in New York. It's just a little different atmosphere in the hustle bustle of New York City.
You always got to promote local stuff, and especially entrepreneurs about business, self-established business, and they need all the support.
This is awesome. I'm so happy you guys came, because it's just like a little taste of home, for us. And I've been here for 20 years now, so long time.
You don't usually get this opportunity to come to the mainland, let alone New York, let alone in Soho. So it's pretty amazing, and the turnout has just been so wonderful and so loving. So we're super excited to be here.
They've been really positive. I think a lot of people, when they think of Hawaii, they think of a lot more of the touristy stuff. And so for them to see real, authentic Hawaiian stuff that you wouldn't normally see outside of tourist shops is something that people are very excited about. They like knowing the people behind the brands and the artistry and the craft that's involved in all of this.
A major part of the Aloha Market was the Aloha for Maui section. 11 businesses from the Valley Isle were able to share their products with the people of New York City, and also their stories of how business has been after the devastating wildfires last August.
It felt like COVID all over again. The island really stopped, came to a standstill immediately. So that definitely felt like all over again of that. Obviously we did have quite a few accounts burned down. Sadly, one of the receivers at Foodland that I knew passed away. So that was tough. It was really hard.
Being a small business, your employees are kind of like your children in a way. So selfishly, immediately I'm wondering if our business slows down, we got to take care of our employees to make sure they have work. So the first step that we did, we knew that we had our online platform to lean on. And so we launched a Maui Strong hot sauce box just to create and keep business rolling. And so we did 4 flavors, and all the proceeds from that box we donated to Common Ground Collective. and that kept all 6 of our employees working the whole time. Even though we weren't necessarily bringing in profits, we were bringing in cash flow to keep the business rolling.
In the recovery process, there are a lot of cultural nuances that we need to consider. Some people are shy, some need additional assistance with filling out forms.
A lot of the Asian communities are very prideful too, right? So even though they need the help, they're not going to ask for help. There's no way, because you know, they can do it themselves.
Yeah. So we have a lot of those in the recovery process, but yeah, there are a lot of advocates that help give voice to those groups, and we're here to support them as well.
In order for us small businesses to survive, we need people to support our businesses. And the best way is to bring tourists in, to bring people from out of town to come in and support, even from Oahu, come on over to Maui and support the small businesses. That way we can help the people in Lahaina, we can help them rebuild. So, yeah.
To give you an example, you know, in Hawaii in general, the money that we earn from selling our chili oil is going to go to support, you know, we're going to buy in Pukalani Superet, it's a mom and pop grocery store. They're going to use that money to buy from suppliers, from our farmers. So the money just circulates around, and that's the importance of supporting local. The money stays within the community, it helps everyone thrive. I think months after the fire, you know, all the cameras are now gone, you know, and we all are back in our regular lives, and this brings the spotlight back again on Maui. So just having Maui in our product, you know, it means a lot.
Maui has come together. The community is a beautiful thing, supporting each other in times of need for perhaps yourself, but you're still willing to help others. And for me, I try and look for the positive in a situation, and being able to see this community come together was my favorite part. Just being here in New York and at the Mana Up and Shopify event, and being able to share our story with New Yorkers, and there were a lot of people here and they really were interested, and it was great being able to share what's happening now, share that we are still in need and how to support and give back, and share that Maui is open was a great opportunity to be able to spread that message.
Joining me now is Monica from the Pili Flow, one of the businesses that are representing the Valley Isle here. Monica, I want to first ask you about how you and your business has been impacted by what's happened on Maui after the wildfires.
Well, I think everyone on Maui has been impacted one way or another. For us, we actually had to pivot, and we became more of a service to our community by bringing our kimchi to the hubs where the fire victims were able to get resources like food, water, clothing, and any of the supplies after losing everything they got. And that has really helped us to kind of go along with our mission to building community through food.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the business community on Maui, because I imagine you guys are a tight-knit community, and after something like what happened, did it almost galvanize and bring the community closer together?
You know, as devastating and as, you know, crazy as everything has gone down, the beautiful thing in all of this is that businesses, families, and everybody of the community all over has really come together, and that's been such a beautiful thing to watch.
Okay, Brittany, so you are from the island of Maui, and the Aloha for Maui section is a big part of what's happening here at the Aloha Market. Tell us about why it was important to include the Aloha for Maui section within this Aloha Market.
It was important to us to include the Aloha for Maui section to really highlight the Maui businesses and to drive awareness and sales to these local businesses. They have not only lost accounts and lost sales during everything that's happened with the wildfires, but they've also donated time and taken away time from their business to really be hands-on in the community. So what can we do as Mana Up? What can we do as Hawaii? What can we do as New York City to really lift up these businesses and support them the way that they've supported their community during everything that's happened in the last 9 months?
One of the things we're noticing in talking with a lot of the customers that are coming in here is they're saying one of the things that attracted them to this event is just it being from Hawaii and the brand of Hawaii. How do you think the brand of Hawaii helps in just marketing and attracting people to events like this?
Hawaii is an aspirational brand. We're known for beaches and ocean and aloha and all these really great, wonderful, positive things. And I think that emanates from this space. As people came in for our VIP and media night, they could feel it. People who are invited to 20 events last night picked us because they felt that aloha spirit, and they were so thrilled when they left because they were welcomed by everyone. They saw what amazing products and entrepreneurs were here, and just really how optimistic and how wonderful everyone was to be around.
What are you hoping the companies take away after this weekend? You know, a lot of them coming up here, taking time to be here this weekend. What would a success look like for a lot of these businesses who are here in New York this weekend?
I hope that these businesses gain one, awareness of what's happening outside of Hawaii and just what other brands are doing and what the conversations are and how they can really get themselves to that next level that's outside of Hawaii. So that would be number one. Number two would really be around awareness of customers in New York and media outlets and all of the global distribution that comes out of this city. So hoping that we get some good articles, some good news segments, and really some things like that that can have a lot of awareness for our companies.
Well, one of the things that we want to do is sample some of the products being featured here at the Aloha Market. I have Jordan here, a former Hawaii resident who is now living in New York. We're going to be taking the High Spice Challenge. Of course, High Spice, one of the Maui vendors, known for their hot sauces. And we're going to put Jordan to the test here. Are you excited?
I am nervous.
Okay, here we go. This is the first one. It should be pretty mild. Go ahead. Okay. And your thoughts overall?
That was spicy.
This is the mild.
It tastes very spicy.
Okay.
Delicious, amazing.
Okay.
But very spicy.
All right, so
that, if that's the mild, yep.
We also have Waiakea water here on standby in case we need. All right, this is the medium flavored. It is called the pineapple hot sauce.
That was delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not too hot?
That actually was less hot than the other one.
Okay.
But it tastes, the pineapple really helps kick the spice.
All right. And the final one is the whole bra, known to be one of the spiciest. Here we go.
Okay. Here we go. That is very spicy. If you love spice, go for that one. Oh my gosh.
Well, really known for its name, Whole Bra. I think it's a good branding here.
Great branding. Great branding.
Make sure that you have water on standby when taking the High Spice Challenge. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, guys.
We're here now with Chris Schmecker from Shopify, who is the brand marketing director. I want to first talk about this event that's happening, the Aloha Marketplace. Explain to us how this partnership with Monab came to be.
I'm so excited about this event, Ryan. It's going to be a big one for New York. It's months in the making as well. I called Melly up about a year ago today and said we got to have an opportunity to bring Hawaii brands to New York and showcase them in a space where they can all share their story together. We love the chance to help entrepreneurs succeed in new markets. And we recognize that there's big costs associated with doing that. So if we can lighten the load a bit, in this case providing a venue and support for this event, applying all of our commerce knowledge to an event production like this, we hope that the merchants will win as a result.
And for you, this has extra significant meaning. You are from Hawaii, a local boy, a Punahou alum. What does this mean to you to be able to support some of these local businesses that are coming for this event in the capacity and role that you have here at Shopify?
I will say when I walked into the space this morning, I was overjoyed. Just the sights, the sounds, the smells of my hometown. We're back in New York. I mean, that was a really powerful feeling. Seeing all of the brands showcase their wares, telling their stories as founders is a really powerful statement to New York that Hawaii entrepreneurs are sophisticated, they are ready, they are here to showcase all that they do well. I'm really hoping that folks in New York will better understand the ethos behind Hawaii brands, what makes them tick, what makes them care about place and culture so much, and also hopefully discover some new products that they'll fall in love with over time.
I want to talk a little bit more about the entrepreneurial spirit that we're seeing, especially in Hawaii, with a lot of these businesses coming over, but just as a whole, the number of new up-and-coming entrepreneurs that we're seeing. For you folks at Shopify, what are you seeing on your end in terms of just that entrepreneurial spirit that we are seeing so evident and on display this weekend?
Absolutely. I love that entrepreneurship is part of a growing global cultural movement. It's not just something that is business-centric, it's something that people care about because it gives them flexibility in their lives. It gives them the chance to control their own time. It gives them the chance to be their own boss. Hawaii entrepreneurs have always been a key part of the economy, They make up a vast majority of Hawaii businesses. They employ half of all Hawaii employees, but they haven't always made the crossing to market their products and sell their products on the mainland and beyond. So that entrepreneurial spirit has always run deep in Hawaii, but this new generation of founders is bringing fresh thinking to the table. They're exploring new sales channels, including e-commerce with Shopify, and they're really upping their game when it comes to product packaging, branding, and storytelling behind the brand. That is so important right now because we know that there is no shortage of inauthentic Hawaiian merchandise in market. There are a lot of brands that claim to be Hawaiian, but have no authentic connection to Hawaii, its place, its people, its culture. So I'm really proud that there is a new generation of Hawaii entrepreneurs that's trying to challenge that narrative and bring their product and their message to these markets.
I'm here with Angela as part of the lei making workshop. How did things go?
Great. It was so fun, interactive. It was great.
Do you have any ties to Hawaii? What made you want to come by and be a part of this?
I'm from Hawaii in the Big Island, so my friend Bianca and I just decided to come.
And how long did that take you to make that?
An hour.
Okay. Well, it looks great.
Thank you.
Now, in addition to the shopping here at the Aloha Market, there have been interactive workshops like this lei making class, as well as panel discussions regarding topics that impact entrepreneurs in Hawaii.
I think it's important for people to know that we are actually telling stories that are really close to our heart, that share our connection to our islands, to our aina, to our kanaka, as well as our local kama'aina, and that we would be able to have a chance to, as Native Hawaiians, tell our own stories out to the greater global community.
Entrepreneurship and business can be a vehicle for doing so much social good in the world, especially in Hawaii. For example, we import 80% of our food in Hawaii, so a lot of us food manufacturers there are able to contribute to the local agricultural economy by spreading our products that incorporate the local goods elsewhere into the world.
I think that it has been very good for people to be here and really get a taste of Hawaii. Every single person I've met has said, I want to come to Hawaii. And I have encouraged people to come to the Big Island to see its beautiful nature, which most people have said they want. They want to experience nature.
Growing up in Honolulu, Kauai, it's just so amazing to share Hawaii's story and really support local family farmers and share their story and be able to fund them and help their farms grow and grow all together. It's just been really amazing.
There's definitely this feeling of we're all in it together and we're trying to support each other as small businesses and as family businesses from Hawaii. And there's this real feel of community, and we can't do it on our own.
I think it's a pretty big deal for us to get to spread, our businesses, show the culture and how, what we bring from our islands to share with, the locals here.
With thousands of shoppers stopping by the Aloha Market over the course of the weekend, organizers say it proves that Hawaii businesses can compete with some of the biggest brands in New York's busiest shopping district. The Aloha Market has helped these businesses from Hawaii spread their brand and a little bit of aloha with New York City.
The Chamber of Commerce Hawaii is taking action through our 2030 Blueprint initiative for Hawaii's economic future. Join the Chamber's blueprint to help businesses grow, expand local job opportunities, and improve the state's economy. Mahalo.
Spotlight Now with Yunji Denise and Ryan Kalei-Suji. Connecting you with newsmakers from throughout our islands. Going in depth with Hawaii's leaders and taking your questions live. Spotlight Now, where Hawaii comes to talk.
We hope you enjoyed that special from New York City. In talking with organizers after the event, they say that nearly 5,000 people attended the Aloha Market over the course of just one weekend, and they saw record sales in that facility for all these Hawaii products that really were able to show their product and highlight it to an East Coast audience. The other thing that really struck me was the number of Hawaii transplants that made it to that area and to that shop to be a part of the experience. Many people driving for up to 5 hours in order to just experience the Aloha Market. So the brand of Hawaii and those businesses really being able to highlight their products. And as we heard from Melly Janes, hoping to expand the Hawaii economy beyond the borders of Hawaii, but really getting those products out into the community. Early in the show, of course, we also caught up with Sherry Manoa McNamara from the Chamber of Commerce, noting that it was a successful season for the Chamber coming out of this legislative session, and that they will continue to work on their blueprint as they monitor different types of issues that are impacting the business community here in Hawaii, noting that Hawaii continues to be one of the toughest places to do businesses, and how the Chamber is looking for new ways to actually move the needle and help make a difference. We hope you enjoyed this Spotlight Now episode where we focus on business. Tune in next week. We are going to be actually focusing on two different guests. We'll be catching up with Hawaii Island Mayor Mitch Roth, getting an update of all the things that are happening there on the Big Island, some of the issues that continue to plague residents there, as well as catch up with Ed Sniffen from the Department of Transportation. There are a number of projects that are currently going on, including repairs that continue to be done to the Kona Airport, as well as some of the upgrades that we're seeing in airports and facilities throughout the state, as well as our roadways. So we hope that you'll tune in to our next Spotlight Now on next week, Tuesday. For now, we leave you with a beautiful shot of the Honolulu skyline. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next week.